Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So this is our review show that we do live here on ComicPOP. Welcome, of course, if you are new to ComicPOP. I just got my notification. Did you? Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, click the bell to get notifications so that you will not miss an update whenever we do one of these live shows. And of course, if you want to catch this show live, you can always do so by visiting us on Mondays, anywhere between 5 and 6:30 p.m. It's 6:45. It's a little late, but you know, better late than never, I always say.
Yes.
And by that I mean I never say it, but I'm glad I got the chance to say it. Before we jump into the books that we read this past week that we're going to recap and review and let you know what we thought about them, we're also going to talk about where you can find more of our stuff. If you go to patreon.com/comicpop, you can help this channel grow and also, of course, support this channel in some big bad ways. We have some good big bad rewards as well if you decide you want to do that. So we advise you to go to patreon.com/comicpop, check it out, see the rewards, and decide if it's right for you.
Nice.
Early access stuff and weekly updates and that kind of thing. Speaking of which, I do have to do the rundown of what's happening this week for the patrons after the show.
You're like, so,
So, just plugging along. From there, we also want to mention, because Adam Asamoah says he's first, using the Super Chats. When the show is live here on YouTube, we rely on the Super Chats to participate with you, the audience. That way you guys can ask questions or give comments, and we can participate together, and you guys can be influential on the show. We'll talk to you, and we'll share your insights and stuff like that. Jordan, for example, in the Super Chats, just threw us a buck. We do appreciate it, Jordan. And that way, this show can help us keep this. This is the studio. I like to occasionally move the live show set.
I literally never know where we're going to be shooting.
No, it's great because
there's
there's so much space. There's so much room for activities
nice.
or live shows, and so I like to move it around just to kind of showcase what you're getting. So and what we're using for your money. So thank you. Anyway, let's jump into it. There's a book that came out that I was like, no, screw this book. It's stupid that it came out. It's stupid that there's a book. We had this book. It's 30 years old now. Come on, what the hell are you doing? It's called Symbiote Spider-Man #1. It's a 5-issue miniseries written by Peter David with art by Iban Coelho and Greg Land.
Hey! Horn faces.
The reason why this book exists is because I've been getting a lot of requests from people out in the Twitterverse and the internet netherworld about recommendations for Mysterio stories, since Mysterio is one of the main antagonists of Spider-Man Far From Home, unless Captain Marvel twists and turns make you think oh, actually Mysterio would probably be a good guy because Marvel likes to pull the rug out from under you. I kind of hope not, because I like the first appearance of Mysterio in the original Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm a hero and I'm gonna discredit Spider-Man, and then it turns out he's a dick. That's the fun reveal for Mysterio.
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay with that. Here's the thing. We just got Doctor Strange. We don't need to be throwing 1,000 more magical people into there until
he ain't magic.
I know. Let's just try to get that right.
Yeah, well.
He is magic.
But I've been getting a lot of requests for recommendations from good Mysterio stories. There aren't any. He is normally in the Sinister Six. He's normally in one-shot stories. You don't see any key trade paperback collection Mysterio stories.
Right.
There just aren't many, if any at all. The one I think of is there's a Spider-Man Unlimited issue which features Mysterio prominently on the cover, and that's from the 90s, and that's a double-page issue. It's not a lot. So, Symbiote Spider-Man is obviously dragging Mysterio into this so that we can have at least one trade paperback by the time this movie comes out.
For the people clamoring
for Mysterio.
to read about Mysterio.
Well, I'll take this over, well, he has organic webbing in the movies. We should make it in the comics that way, too. Just change everything.
Just read Old Man Logan.
Yeah, Old Man Logan. Mysterio is key. It's
a great Mysterio story.
Agreed, but then people are going to go in there and go wow, Mysterio's really capable. I should read more. And they're going to be like, oh. Really, they're going to be more like when he appeared in Kevin Smith's Daredevil book and he killed himself because he was so lame. By the way, we did a back issues on that. Check it out. Guardian Devil. Anyway, so this book came out Symbiote Spider-Man #1. It's a flashback series that like fills in the gaps, not unlike a little series called Spider-Man: The Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Kurt Busiek,
Okay.
which was like stories that took place within the spaces between the Amazing Spider-Man issues that came out from Lee and Ditko.
Right.
So they were like, let's do that, but for the 80s, when Spider-Man was like single, had a symbiote costume, and was dating Black Cat.
Okay.
Except for the fact that there were like multiple Spider-Man books there during that time. All the time is pretty much filled in, but why not? So, let's talk more about that. The story's fun. It's written by Peter David, so clearly, like, this is one of those Michael Ironside castings where they were like, we have no faith in this book. This book doesn't need to exist. We need to make it competent and come out on time. Call David and get him to write this fucking thing.
Okay.
Because the dude knows Spider-Man. He knows the story. He's probably read the history. If he didn't, he probably has access to some of those older books. Maybe he has a Marvel Limited subscription. And he'll fill it in.
Okay.
For example, there's a moment where he refers to Spider-Man's old crotchety landlady, and clearly David did not remember the lady's name, and so the character, Felicia Hardy, says, I don't remember her name. And I love it because it's like, yeah, me either, but I do have the issue that she's in, and I could probably look it up, but why bother?
Right,
and that's kind of what this series is. So, anyway, in this issue, Mysterio has, like, his retcon to have had a friend who's, like, a better criminal than he is. He's eager to try and, like, prove himself. He robs a bank, and in his deception, a woman is killed by accident. And he feels like an asshole for it.
Okay.
Spider-Man sees Quentin Beck, a.k.a. Mysterio, at the gravesite of Uncle Ben because, coincidentally, the lady who Mysterio inadvertently got killed was buried at the same area as Uncle Ben. And Pete's bringing Felicia there to make her feel bad because she's, like, too much of a party girl. And she's like, I'm okay. She just found out he's Spider-Man. She really doesn't care for the Peter Parker identity.
Okay.
She's only interested in kind of just banging in masks. And he's kind of like, if you want to date me, you need to get what I'm all about.
Okay, that makes way more sense than, like, I have a friend who parties too much. I'm gonna bring them to the cemetery and show them my dead relatives. That'll really ground them, be like, this, you're gonna die.
No, with great power comes great
Well, I
responsibility.
get it
That's
now.
what I'll do to you.
Like, yeah, but that's what you, like, what you said is that scenario where you're just like, let's just try this out. Let's just show them, like, reality.
Yeah, no, it's not quite that much. He's not trying to scare her straight. But anyway, typical Spider-Man assumes that Quentin Beck's up to no good, goes and kicks his ass. Beck lies to Spider-Man and says that he was visiting his dead sister. Spider-Man feels like a huge asshole. Mysterio escapes, and that's the setup for issues 2 through 5. It's really quite well written because Peter David is a good writer, and he's been doing this for a long time, and he's worked on Spider-Man before. Dude knows his stuff. For a weird who asked for this, let's get another Peter Parker Spider-Man book out there.
Yeah.
Because there aren't enough of them.
Well, people love Spider-Man.
Listen, I love Spider-Man, I love Peter Parker, but, like, I'm only reading one Spider-Man book with his name on it.
But that's the one you're reading. Now there's somebody else out there
who's like, I don't want to read about Kraven the Hunter, I want to read about Aunt May having cancer, so I'll read the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man book.
This is like
or if I don't,
like the PS2 version of comic books.
Yeah. I will say, this is pretty good, and it's doing the thing that I asked for, which is why I picked it up and why I dug it. It's doing the thing I asked for, which is, don't regress the character, just remind people that there are stories in which that character did all those things that you want to see, and they're written pretty well, and the art's pretty cool, so go check them out. Or, if you're not going to check them out, at the very least, read a story that takes place during those stories.
Sure, okay.
So, I recommend it.
Wow.
It's a terrible title, Symbiote Spider-Man. Screw you. What a silly-ass title.
Well,
like,
hey.
Yes, he has the symbiote.
Right.
Yes, it's Spider-Man. But, like, whatever.
But here's the thing. Like, if you're a Venom fan, and you're not necessarily the biggest Spider-Man fan.
Right. You're going to go, symbiotes, ooh.
Symbiotes, I know that.
That's probably what it is, because Venom is huge right now in the comics, at the very least.
Yeah, so, like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not just chuck that in there?
I agree. So, moving on, before we jump into your books, I wanted to talk about how Mr. Roboto says, how's the wizard rack hanging? What he's referring to is, I have a full spinner rack of wizard magazines. It's over there. right here is where we keep the long boxes. I don't want to put them in front of them. So these are but a few of them. So yeah, it's doing well.
But a few.
I wouldn't recommend a spinner rack, by the way, because comics because gravity exists and they screw up the books.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you had them all bagged and board, did.
Yes, but why would you put them on a spinner rack for that case?
Yeah, I know.
Adam Esmeralda says, Sal, your hair's different. I got a video for you guys. Cool. Thanks for making a video, or if you've got a recommendation, hit me up. Yes, my hair is a little different. It's not cut or anything, just different. Saud Alfani says, hey, Sal and Tiff. Hey, I know who that is.
Hi, I think I know who that is, too. And if so, then he's the current mayor of the population.
Yes, over on twitch.tv/ComicPOP.
Yeah.
Tiffany plays...
If I'm correct about that.
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In any case, just check that out. You'll see this very, very kind chap, among other people, over there.
Those are awesome.
Tiffany plays God of War.
Oh, it's got the Chaos Blades. All right, I'm back.
Mr. Roboto says, with solo Venom estimate for movie Mysterio, I don't know. Got anything for me?
Oh, like since they had the solo Venom movie, do you think they'll make a
solo Mysterio movie?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Jordan William is just helping us out. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know if the pull of Mysterio is that great, but we'll see.
I think it's pretty
I mean,
weak.
who knows? Who knows, though?
Yeah.
Could be fan favorite.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
So what'd you read this week?
What did I read? Yeah, this week. That was rough this week, trying to figure out what
was
read.
this week versus like the weeks we've missed because I was traveling too much?
Well, no, and then last week you had Chip Zdarsky on.
I did have Chip Zdarsky on, so
Chip
check out that previous
Zdarsky
episode.
kind of trumped what we were gonna be talking about.
That's right.
Let's it's weird. This was like a really sword and sorcery week for me this week, so I'm not gonna go super into detail with everything that came out because I will mention it, but I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna tell much about it. But if you're a Rat Queens fan or you were interested in the series, this past week they put out basically kind of like an annual. And what they're doing with this annual is they're introducing the new team who's going to be taking over.
Oh, cool.
So, now's your chance. If you haven't been on board, sure, you might be a little behind, but you'll be getting on board with a new team, and the annual will probably help out with that. So, just as a heads up.
Nice.
But speaking of sword and sorcery, the Savage Sword of Conan came out this week. This is the Jerry Dugan run with art by Ron Garney. This book has been basically just here's an adventure of Conan from beginning to end.
Right.
Whereas Jason Aaron's has been here is King Conan, and while this other story is going on in the current time, let's talk about random little adventures in each issue. And I really have been digging that because Aaron's really doing a deep dive into not only Conan's adventures, but in the way he thinks and the things that have happened to him and kind of his emotional state at these different time periods in his life, which is kind of interesting while also dealing with just general Conan-ness. Gotcha. This book is just, hey, you want to see Conan go on an adventure that's kind of like the movie where there's theft and he's got plucky partners and all kinds of craps going on? This is the book for you then.
Nice.
Conan was on a ship. It was a slaver ship. He gets off of it. The whole ship is set on fire. He's attached to this other guy. He and this other guy go on this crazy adventure where they're going to find this treasure because Conan has a magical map burned into his brain and only he can see it. The guy wants treasure too, so he comes along. They pick up this chick. She can fight. She's smart. She's got it all, right? There's serpent wizards who are also after this treasure. You see where I'm going with this, right? And this book takes over where it's they've been fighting through the sorcerers skeleton guys. They're fighting skeletons. That's another thing. I'm just yep, Conan.
Cool.
Conan fighting skeletons. It's just a big initial battle while Conan's also trying to get them through this labyrinth, basically underground, to get them towards the treasure. Whereas the guy from the boat, Suti?
Yes.
He has been infected by one of the sorcerers. He got cut. He got poisoned, and now
it's becoming a snake or something.
No, well, kind of. But the sorcerer is also able to she's trying to use his mind. He's just no, come on, I'll give you all this power and all these wishes and all this cool stuff. Just let me in. Let me do this type of thing. And based on this dude, you think he's totally gonna turn. And he instead he blindfolds himself so that he can't see what Conan's doing anymore through his eyes. And inevitably he's okay, Conan, I saved your life. Mm-hmm. And now I have to ask you to send me from where I saved you from, basically. And he's just you have to kill me because he's using me
Right.
against you. And I'm like, whoa, this dude turns out to be way more honorable than I thought.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing this happening.
So, like, Conan's like, I'm not going to kill you, and you're not going to, like, sorcerer, you're not going to take him from me. Like, that's not happening. Like, I am going to, like, I'm going to come for you.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, but then, like, he totally, like, takes control of the guy, and Conan kills him.
Right.
And then, like, it turns out the sorcerer still has control over his body, so now he's, like, dead and coming after Conan.
Yeah.
And Conan's like, here's the thing. I was just going to take your treasure.
Right.
But now I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to take your treasure.
Sounds good.
So that's pretty much it. Oh, and then Conan gets, like, slashed by the guy, so now his poison is in him.
Oh, no.
And it's like, the next issue's going to conclude this whole run.
Oh,
like,
cool.
this whole, like, thing. So I'm
That
just like,
story,
yeah. So it's like, it's going to be very fast-paced. This whole book has been amping up. Like, the first issue was like, all right, cool, we were getting into it, but, like, it's really been, like, hitting the ground running. And again, if you're interested in Conan, but you just want kind of, here's an adventure.
Right.
This is it.
And I know that you were concerned about it because, like, we just got the Aaron Conan run.
Yes.
And it's so good.
It is so good.
That you're worried there's going to be too much Conan.
Right, which I don't feel like this is. I think this is just, like, for those who are interested in Conan, this is just a fun supplement because it's not really taking away from Aaron's run. Aaron, for me, is kind of the star of the show, like, in terms of Conan. Like, he's really doing a deeper dive into Conan, where this is just another adventure Conan went on at some point in his life.
And it's so distinct that it's not going to interrupt. Plus,
no.
we all know what direction Conan's going in if you're reading Avengers No Road Home.
Yeah, exactly. So.
There you go.
Yep.
I read, and I think you read this as well. Well, no. Yeah. Batman Who Laughs #4.
Do you want to do that one now?
Yeah, all right.
What's up to you? I wasn't sure if you had another one.
I don't really.
Oh.
I mean, I have like 2 more books. That's it. Batman Who Laughs #4.
Yes.
6-issue miniseries, 2 more issues left. Snyder Jock combo looks awesome. So the story is simply that, like, Batman, of course, was infected. The true Batman was infected with the Joker toxin from the death of Joker. Joker simulates his own death to infect Bruce Wayne, so that Bruce Wayne can think like the Batman Who Laughs, so that he can properly defeat him. In this story, Bruce Wayne basically invents the visor, or like the Cenobite face thing.
I legit thought was just headgear.
Everyone thought that. Snyder's like, aha, you thought wrong. I turned it into a thing. It's made out of dark metal. And so as a result, like, or dark matter metal. Anyway,
Whatever,
it's made of the dark metal that is from Dark Knight's metal. And so it allows the Batman Who Laughs, and now our Batman, to see multiple dimensions more or less at once, but only the dark dimensions, only the underside of the multiverse. So he's putting it all together, but it's also becoming the Batman Who Laughs while also operating with the Batman Who Laughs visor spells trouble for Bruce, because people think he's the Batman Who Laughs, and also he's freaking out.
Yes, he's having a hard time.
Yeah, he actually has a fist fight with Alfred, which is really cool.
Yes, well, it's kind of one-sided, but
Yeah.
not the one-sided you think it's going to be.
No, but it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And it works out because, Alfred's like, "Oh, Bruce, I'm sorry, I gotta punch you."
Yeah.
Later on, of course, Batman does wind up continuing on his mission, and he bumps into the Joker, who at first glance was dying / being operated on by Alfred, who was like, I could just kill him, and it doesn't violate your thing. Oops. I don't see why he doesn't do that, but it's only because Joker sells books. Joker escaped in a previous issue, and now he's back, and he basically says to Batman, like, don't screw up. Like, he is there to kind of help Batman.
Yeah, it's bizarre. He's just like, because I think Joker realizes, he's like, I also cannot stop the Batman Who Laughs. I don't want to lose to him.
No, I don't want to lose to a Batman who's basically lost to me already.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Batman. There's a cool scene. It's evocative of the Killing Joke, but I appreciate that they don't like beat you over the head with a chalk. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do Brian Boland. I'm not gonna do what you're doing. No. So it's a different scene.
No, like, you get it. If you've read The Killing Joke, you got it.
Yep, but it's also just cool to see Batman and the Joker like chumming it up for a minute.
Yes, and weirdly laughing.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
Yes. Ultimately, Batman Who Laughs is hanging on to Gordon, but he also tasked the Grim Knight with kidnapping, which if you've seen our review of the Grim Knight, Batman Who Laughs, the Grim Knight #1, you know the backstory, which is, of course, silly. But Grim Knight has a real problem with Gordon because Gordon's the only one who's ever defeated him, so he's like looking to kill this Gordon.
Yeah,
and
he kills all the Gordons.
He kills all the Gordons of all the multiverse.
He also doesn't like fish sticks.
No. Yeah, the Gordon's fisherman.
It's not the same at all.
Nope. But yeah, anyway, so the Grim Knight is going to break away from the Batman Who Laughs and kill Gordon.
Yeah, which I mean, like, obviously the Batman Who Laughs must know that that's going to happen. I
Right.
don't think there's any way he doesn't think that that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
He leaves him there with him. He's just like, now, Jim, here's the thing. Like, as long as you don't misbehave, the Grim Knight's going to be totally on his best behavior.
Right.
And I'm going to go now.
Yeah, now I'm going to leave him here with you. So.
Like, I have total faith in this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Total faith.
Yeah.
I'm not a complete, like, psychopath over here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, he knows.
Yeah, ultimately, Gordon tries to escape.
No,
Batman and Grim Knight lets him go. He's like, I'm gonna hunt you.
He's like, you have to run.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And I have like these special hounds. And
Yes.
it's just the Robins.
It's just the Batman Who Laughs Robins.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
So they bite him a lot, and then
yeah, which is also weirdly kind of like it reminds me of The Killing Joke.
Yes, because they're like the little like creepy midget things. Yeah. Ultimately, we see the Batman Who Laughs face finally, and the police think that Batman is the Batman Who Laughs because Batman Who Laughs is dressed like one of the cops, and they blow him away, or at least, you know, they shoot before Batman can jump out of the way.
Right, because, like, at the end of the day, like, our Batman is trying to, like, stop the other Bruce Waynes who are being brought through. He's like, I gotta figure this out, so he figures out where one of the next portals will be. He finds an alternate reality which he actually goes into, in which Bruce Wayne is an old man, but also runs Blackgate Prison, which is like a huge facility now. And that, like, the idea is like Batman, there is no Batman, there is no cape, like we don't wear that kind of stuff in this Gotham. He gets pulled through the
because the Batman Who Laughs has been murdering Bruce Wayne throughout the series. From the multiverse.
The guard who is at our current Blackgate, who was kind of helping Batman, ends up killing the old man Bruce Wayne because he comes back through with Batman, and that's when we discover that it's actually the Batman Who Laughs who is dressed up as the guard, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
This was actually the first issue of this series that I gave a crap about.
Wow. See, I've been loving this series the entire way.
I'm just saying, like, this was the first one, and like I only read it because I didn't have much else in the way of like mainstream stuff that we would talk about today. So I was like, at least I should read that, so you and I could have a conversation about it. And if it wasn't for the stuff with Alfred, I mean, like, that was it for me. Like, that was what I was like, this is incredible.
That's what grounds it for you.
This is so incredible.
Because Snyder gets it. Like, he knows what these characters mean to each other, and he knows when we've been, like, denied really satisfying moments between those characters in a while.
Yeah, and I think it was earned. It wasn't just there to, like, tug at heartstrings. Like, it literally was earned. And I really enjoyed it, because it was like, you know, when you're a kid and you say something really hurtful and hateful to your parents, and then later on you kind of regret it, and maybe it's never said that you regretted it or whatever, but we get to see that with Bruce now as an adult. He says things as the Joker's like trying to like kind of take over, because there's some really cool treatment with the word balloons for Bruce and his thought balloons in this, but you see that voice come in and say these horrible hateful things to Alfred, and Alfred just kind of cries and holds him, and I'm just like, but it's also so good.
Yeah, and you know, like, Bruce won't forgive himself, but Alfred already has. And like, I found it actually kind of hard to read sometimes because certain words were in like a jagged red font. And it was against a black background. And I found it like, I was like, I had to use context to figure out what the words meant because I was reading it digitally and it was really hard.
Did you read it on a monitor?
Yes.
Yeah, that was your problem.
It was really
your
hard.
red's probably turned up too high.
Yeah.
On my phone, it was great. It looks perfectly. Actually, I was gonna say something about not only Jock's art, but some of the coloring in this book. It's pretty spectacular. Those red word balloons.
Yeah.
Because those who know, cool colors recede and warm colors push out, and so like I like how aggressive at times those like word balloons and red color treatments pop off the page. Like it's almost like getting into like to us. It's like it's so in your face. I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Oh, I'm loving the series. I think it's great, and I think it will be remembered and enjoyed. I don't think it's going to be like up there. I don't think it's ever going to like topple something like Black Mirror, but I think it is really, really fun and cool.
Yeah, and it's just great to see Jock doing this type of book. I mean, not only just seeing him doing Batman, but one that has like these horror elements to it, because I think he really obviously shines here.
Agreed. So it's really cool. Check it out. Let's see. Who else chatted to us? Mr. Giggles says, hey guys, how are you? Also, Tiffany, how's the knife? Mr. Giggles sent us a knife.
Yes!
A culinary knife.
I love it.
Which we wound up using recently.
Yeah, I've been using it recently. It is so sharp. It's great.
Yeah.
It sounded really weird.
No, it's true.
But it is. It's great.
Estelthani says, yeah, that's me. Oh, and I DM'd you a question on Twitter, Tiffany, but Thorky and Benny answered it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cash money in the bank.
Check it now.
Yeah, feel free. Cash money in the bank. Thanks for the tips on how to find comic art. Now I'm looking into cons to hunt at. I've been to Silicon Valley Comic Con, and it was a zoo. Any tips for cons that are a bit smaller, down to travel? You guys rock. I mean, in terms of cons that are smaller, like you will need to just check out like the cons and the places you'd be interested in going to. I haven't heard much outside of like Baltimore. I really like the East Coast Comic Con. That's a con that's been gaining prevalence in my heart, certainly over time. But if you go to upcomingcons.com, you can check like the roster. It's always updated about like what city and what towns and stuff like that who have upcoming cons.
It's actually a really great question that was
cool.
asked via DM about Diamond Publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Just about like their business practices and like.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Thorgy would definitely know.
Yes.
As he worked in a comic book store.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of if you're trying to get yourself published.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like if you are yourself getting published.
Yep. You have to go through a whole like rigmarole to get published through Diamond if you don't have a label.
Yeah. Which is like, here's the thing. Like it can be there's something about the idea of like having your book in a store, and I get that 100% because it's like it's right there, it's on these racks, and like I can see it and people can walk in and they can find it. But there honestly is nothing wrong with just going initially through Comixology. It puts your book out there and it makes it really easy for you to talk to other creators and share it with people like online, because it's just like you just go here, it's right here. You don't have to go to your store, it is right there. And it avoids that initial having to deal with Diamond until you get yourself a little more established.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, there you go.
And what was it? Mr. Roboto says Scorpion, Mysterio, Hobgoblin. They could all be adapted easily for a one-shot Spider-Man movie for the money. Why no movie version? Why no movie version with the technology available? Because for me, I wouldn't want to see them because I don't care about the villains if they're not set against the heroes. I just don't care. Like you can make 1,000 Hobgoblin movies, I won't see a single one of them because I just don't care.
Okay, I would see one of them.
Yeah. We would see the first one.
No, I was gonna say I'd see the one where they bring in Danny Ketch,
right?
For no reason.
Yes, I mean if it was with Ghost Rider, but then again, it's not a Hobgoblin movie. That's a Ghost Rider movie.
No, it could be about Hobgoblin.
Yeah,
Danny Ketch is just trying desperately to deal with keeping his motorcycle, and
right?
Not letting anybody take it from him,
right? Which happens often.
Falling off of it.
But yeah, I mean, like, listen, if you're talking to Sony, Sony's like, if you think it will make money, we will at least go into pre-production over it. So, you know, you're not alone. What else are you reading?
I just wanted to mention a book that came out from Image. Imagine that.
Oh, wow.
I would like to talk to you about a book that came out from Image.
Mm-hmm.
Issue 1 of Fair Lady.
Okay.
Written by Brian... It's really tiny. Brian... Shermer, thanks. I have a hard time reading, let's be honest. Brian Shermer, and illustrated by Claudia Balboni. This is kind of a cool concept for a book. It takes place in this, like, crazy fantasy world where, like, there's seemingly, like, some sort of deep, rich backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's actually known, I don't know. I've never heard of any of this before.
Yep.
There's, like, robots and stuff like that cities are built into.
Cool.
And there are these people who, I think it's called the Fairmen, who are, like, basically, like, detectives and, whatchamacallit, not, like, mercenaries or, like private detectives.
Okay.
And, Jenner is a fair lady, which doesn't really exist. It's typically a male-dominated thing. Hang with me here, folks, because that's really not brought up in this book at all.
Right.
This is more or less just like, that's the premise. But what you're actually reading about is, here's a mystery.
Okay.
And then you solve the mystery. It is episodic.
Oh.
Each issue is 30 pages and will always be about 30 pages, and it'll always be $4. That's the goal of this team.
Okay.
They're like, we don't care. We're going to give you 30 pages for $4 each issue.
Wow.
And each issue will be its own little self-contained story revolving around this chick solving these mysteries or going after people or whatever. It's very much like a buddy cop kind of thing, but like more like Law and Order, where sometimes it's going to be sad.
Right.
And like, sorry about that. That's too bad. Like, this issue kind of was like that. You're like, oh, all right. So it's about this chick, and she solved mysteries in this crazy fantasy world where there's like swords and stuff like that, and her partner is a big cat man.
Okay.
Like, I'm just so on board for this,
That's
because
very
it's
up your
like,
alley.
it's, for me, this is the kind of book that's fairly easy to jump into because of its episodic nature. Again, we're only on issue 1, but the fact is, like, if you miss issue 1, you could probably just pick up issue 2 because it'd just be the next mystery. Here we go.
Exactly.
So I dug it. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I picked it up because it was an image number 1, and there was a cat man on the front. It's an orange tabby-looking cat, so let's be honest, I was a little biased.
You do have one of those?
I have one of those. So but I had a good time with it anyway. So there you go. I say check it out if you're looking for something like that. If that's kind of up your alley, I feel like Danielle would like this. But there you go. Nice.
Obviously, as a Spider-Man fan, I picked up The Hunted Part 3, which is an Amazing Spider-Man number 19. It has legacy numbering, but it's not as big, and I'm not gonna squint. But
is it 820? Yes.
820. There you go. It's written by Nick Spencer with art this time by Gerardo Sandoval.
Okay.
It's normally been drawn by Humberto Ramos. So it's very similar in terms of art, in terms of like the loose style and kind of like odd proportions. But Sandoval knows how to draw the black costume, which is what Spider-Man is in this story.
Okay.
Which is great because the worst thing.
That's right. This is Craven.
Yeah, it's a Craven story. The worst thing in the world you can do as a Spider-Man artist is make the black costume look crappy. And that's like I love Humberto Ramos' art, but I hate his black costume.
Okay.
He just because I think he's just like. Whereas some artists embrace the idea that it's monochromatic, and like when I grew up reading like old Spider-Man comics and looking at the black costume, I'm looking at like things like Mike Zeck and John Byrne, where they're like, I'm gonna use the black space, so I'm really only drawing the eyes and the logo, or I'm only drawing like the pads on the hands. Like it's using a lot of like tropes and conventions from the art and the printing to demonstrate like something different. In this, they're like, it's just black and white though. What do I do with just black and white? So like there's blues and the spider's wrong and like he's oddly shaped and just he's supposed to blend. That's why it's black.
Right.
And they don't understand that.
Well, sometimes like when like colorists get into it, it's like
the coloring does not do it any favors.
Well, no, but like they add the blue in there because if it's a shiny material, like black, usually there's very little true black. Mm-hmm. But it is an alien. So...
Yes. Well, this isn't an alien. This is just cloth.
Right.
But The Hunted is a story arc in an Amazing Spider-Man story, which 10, 15, 20 years ago would have meant that it was a story arc and probably would have been like 4 or 5 parts. Now, because everything's an event, this is an event, and you can get like 1,000 tie-ins or side books that are the same number but like .hu for The Hunted. Get it? Isn't that going to be fun to like tally and mark you like bean counters?
Are you kidding me?
It is a disaster. And this issue in particular felt the most like padding / decompression.
Okay.
Where it's like, I don't have enough story for like a huge event, but I guess we could focus on shit you don't care about. So in this story, Spider-Man doesn't accomplish anything. Straight up.
Okay.
All of Spider-Man's animal villains and him are trapped in Central Park, and they're being hunted by like robot avatars that are run by like douchebag dentists that go to the Serengeti and kill like animals and stuff.
Right.
And so they're being hunted, and they killed a D-list Spider-Man villain named the Gibbon earlier in a story, like in another issue. They did a whole tie-in issue about that. So if you were interested in learning more about like how the Gibbon died, buy that issue. In this, the Vulture is like rallying the rest of the animal troops and being like, I'm in charge. How about me? I've never demonstrated leadership capabilities before in the like 18 times I've been on the Sinister Six, but now's my time to shine. So he basically makes up a story about how the Gibbon died and said that like the Gibbon believed in him and thought he was awesome and like he gave his life and like blah blah blah. So Vulture starts to take over. Spider-Man demonstrates a complete lack of ability to lead or convince any of his villains that Vulture's a pile of shit. Rhino chimes in because earlier in this series, Rhino gets captured for this whole event, and Spider-Man ditches him to save other people who are being crushed by a building, and Rhino distinctly says, I will never forgive you for this. And because when writers write these kinds of comics, they have to say that so that you know that Rhino will never forgive him for this. And so when Rhino shows up in this issue, guess what? He didn't forgive him, so he's really mad. So Rhino helps to cement Spider-Man's lack of connectivity with these characters. Also, earlier in the story, Taskmaster and Black Ant, aka Eric O'Grady, the irredeemable Ant-Man.
Yes.
Those two have been enlisted by Arcade and Craven to go like grab all those animal-based villains. Well, there was one more animal left, and it was an ant, and Taskmaster had to betray Black Ant and then ditch him in the Central Park thing.
It's not really an animal.
I know, but we needed that twist. So, Taskmaster kidnaps Kirk Connors the Lizard in the coolest version you will ever see of him in this entire series.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
He looks great. He's not. Never has he looked as cool except in Spider-Man Torment by McFarlane.
He's more like dinosaur.
He looks like an alligator or a dinosaur or some combination thereof. He's not a lizard. Anyway,
crocodilian.
So Spider-Man bumps into Black Ant, who's like, hey, in the next issue, things are going to happen. I promise.
Okay.
Also, Billy Connors, the lizard's son, is kidnapped and there with Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. Cat.
Yeah, I got the cat part.
And the two of them like try to escape. It's very wheel spinning. It's very decompression. It's very like, screw you.
I'm sorry.
Like, I mean, listen. It like, was it a fine read? Sure, but was it like worth money? No. Should the story be this long? Abso-goddamn-lutely not.
Right.
Especially when you like think about how this is absolutely supposed to make you think of Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Because Kraven did a bunch of things that were like, he has the coffin, he has the cathedral set up, he's wearing the robe, he knows that he can't die unless Spider-Man kills him. He's trying to goad Spider-Man into it. Spider-Man has to wear the black costume, which he wore in Kraven's Last Hunt. It's just reminding you about how great that book is. And then, like, the other day I talked to the writer of that story, J.M. DeMatteis, on an episode of Elseworlds Exchange, which is coming out soon. And that just made this book even more terrible, because I'm like, oh, like, don't remind us about better books. Don't try to, like, add things to them. Like, this is never going to be celebrated or remembered. This is going to be, like, remember when, like, because my pitch for the end of this, and by pitch I mean like what I expect to happen, because you know Kraven made clones and then trained all those clones, and then one clone killed all the other clones. So Kraven has like the one true son of Kraven who looks just like Kraven, but he's like more in his prime and more like unpredictable because you don't know this Kraven. You know they're gonna kill real Kraven. Resurrected Kraven, and then replace him with clone Kraven, so you have new Kraven.
The script, and he's gonna like be reinvigorated,
maybe
as like an immortal Kraven.
Well, especially if he'll kill the other Kraven. I don't know. It feels like they're gonna be like, no, we're gonna echo the last hunt. We're gonna re-kill Kraven, which what we should have done in the first place is never brought him back. But we're gonna replace him so that everybody who brought him back doesn't feel like an asshole.
But like, what better hunt than to hunt himself?
Yeah, I agree.
Like at the peak of his existence, like having hunted down and like helped to capture all the like crazy villains and heroes, and he's like, okay,
yeah, it'd be
now
fun.
I'm gonna kill you.
I'm down for that. Certainly,
maybe they can kill each other.
Yeah,
even though it's not possible, but they'll find a way.
No, because Spider-Man has to kill him. It's magic.
Yeah, except Spider-Man will never kill you.
No, but he might do it by accident, like he did in Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. Anyway, pick it up, I guess. If you're a completist, like I know you are. I feel really bad for people who are like, I need to have like every issue of Spider-Man. So like I bought 25 issues of books I fucking hate, but I need to have them all. Like, no, you don't. You just don't. especially now when comics are worthless. Like, and I don't mean like they don't have value, like to you, intrinsic value. I mean like they're literally worthless, like they are valueless. So like when you buy them at the store, like, okay, great, yeah, but like if you wait like a month, they'll be at like a con in a long box for like half price. So it's like when you need your books, buy them, and especially buy them from your local comic book store. But if you don't need them and you're a completist, wait. Just wait. Because it's not like you're reading them in a vacuum. You will find somebody else who's going to tell you what happened in them. Just buy them later at half price or less. Save yourself some money. And it still sends the message to like big comics, hey, sales dipped a lot.
Right.
Anyway, it's just another representative of the issues with this industry.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else come out this week that you recommend?
Not this week, but I do want to remind people, because apparently people missed this came out.
Yeah.
Not this past week, actually 2 weeks ago. But The Dreaming #8 came out.
It sure did. Normally you review it over on another channel, but
I do.
we didn't hear from them, so
That's
didn't
okay.
happen.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But it did come out, so I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. If you were following The Dreaming, #8 came out, which was the second part of that 2-part little thing they were doing.
Yes.
And it was fantastic. It was so good. I wish the art was a little better, but it was so good.
Good to
Just
hear.
So much fun.
Right?
Like, tragic. You know,
Sure,
it is
yeah.
like it is a love story in the world of Sandman, so it's tragic.
Yeah.
But it really fits with the character, and I really enjoyed it. It was
Nice.
great.
Just a quickie thing about books we didn't get to talk about from previous weeks.
Yes.
Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel Continuity or whatever.
Yeah.
Marvel History.
Yeah.
Is such a great book, and it's so fun. And clearly the writers love Spider-Man because they just keep referencing books.
Right.
But like, you gotta read it. It's so fun and it's so great, and it's like, it's really, really unabashedly fun and cool and legitimately funny. Like, not like that funny where it's like, I know that he's supposed to be funny, but it's not. Like, no. So,
Right.
check it out. But yeah, check it out.
I really feel like at some point we should also just mention the fact that we did both read
War of Realms,
Yes.
#1. Yeah,
Yes.
it came out. We read it. I liked it. You?
I loved it.
Yeah, it's solid.
I mean,
I told you, I did spoil the Doctor Strange reveal for you, and
Yeah.
I hope I didn't ruin it for you. I
You
think
did.
It was,
I was like, oh.
but it's still pretty great.
It's great. It was so much fun.
But yeah.
I actually kind of enjoy Spider-Man in that. I know
I
he's
like
like,
it
he's
too.
like a quip machine, but like it's still...
Yeah, I like
funny.
him in these when they actually acknowledge that he does well and he's like earned a spot in these events.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Loki comes back.
Yeah, naturally.
But I thought that was still a really cool moment.
Yep.
Honestly.
Oh, it was very cool.
Yeah, I thought Odin going
Oh,
down
yeah, it
was
was
pretty spectacular,
very
and
cool.
I actually really liked the onomatopoeia for it.
Yeah.
Like, it was really messed up.
Oh,
but
no,
I
it
really
was.
liked that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Thor is being total Thor, where he is losing sight of the grander issue that's happening, and he's just into battle. That's really amazing.
Yep.
I love when the Avengers show up, and they're like, "This is the Avengers."
Right. Yeah.
Blade's
like, yeah, deal with it.
No, Blade's like, "I'm just as surprised as you are, man."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't read that book because it's so terrible. But yeah.
it is a lot of fun, and it, like, when I say fun, I mean like there are jokes, there are quips, there's stuff going on, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's like punctuated by these moments of like, oh,
this is serious shit.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
then-
of course it's Hickman-esque in that it's the culmination of everything that Aaron's been working on with Thor. So
yeah. So if you
Check it
have been a fan of Aaron's Thor, go check it out. I'm digging it, of course, because he's writing a little bit of Doctor Strange again. I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
Get him out of the stupid new suit. I'm not a fan.
I know. Nice, but check it out. It's a good book.
It is.
It's a cool event, and I hope it's not.
I hope it ends
late.
well, and I hope it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just hope it's cool all the way through.
Yeah, you know it's also awesome. Justice League, number 21 from Snyder and Jimenez. It's an excellent series. This arc is great, and you don't need to read anything to get into it. Like, there are things that are building. They're referencing other things that happened in the previous arcs. But there is a story happening, and Snyder cares about that. So, like, anything else is ancillary or is given context. So you're good.
Okay.
But check it out. It's so great.
Great.
The Sixth Dimension. I've been singing the praise of a book called Marvel Comics Presents. It's a
Yes.
return. It's multiple stories. Number 3 came out. It's a total waste of time. Don't read your money. Or total waste of money. Don't waste your time. Strike that. Reverse it.
Thank
It's
you.
not great. It completely just shits the bed. Like,
Aw.
all the momentum it was building in the last 2 issues completely falls apart. The Spider-Man story is just awful. Like, it's
Really?
it's like a it's a backup's backup of a story.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it's not like, you know what it is? It's not like it's like, oh, it ruins the character. It doesn't. I've read stories like that where they like give it to some new book that they owe a favor to, and they're like, right, Spider-Man, here you go, and it's just wretched.
Right.
There's one I'm reminded of a story in which like a guy is like part of a cleanup crew for New York, and he hates Spider-Man because Spider-Man's like the worst offender of like leaving all this like crap behind.
Okay.
So he assembles a costume made of discarded garbage from other villains so that he can make a suit and fight Spider-Man. And the last page reveals like maybe they'll make this into a villain. Spoilers, they don't. Because who gives a shit? What a stupid idea. That kind of stuff happens in Marvel Comics Presents.
Gotcha.
Also, there's a Wolverine story that's been building. Nope. And yeah, that's how it is. It's just a big fat waste of your time. Don't waste your money.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was really pushing this book, but like it's just that's just you. I'm like, oh, I'm dropping it.
Okay.
Like
well,
just like
fair.
that.
Like there you
yeah,
go.
I can't. So yeah. Those are some books that we think you should check out.
Yes.
Speaking of checking out books,
yeah.
unless you have any more books that came out this past week.
No.
I want to recommend some books.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, Doomsday Clock. Oh, wait, no, that's not coming out. But a reprint of previous issues is coming out. But don't worry, Heroes in Crisis. Oh, wait, nope, that's not coming out either. But reprints of Heroes in Crisis is coming out. So if you want to get reprints of issues for an event that should be done by now, those are coming out from DC. That's pretty great. Last week,
hey,
Scooby Apocalypse ended, by the way.
I heard that. I heard that. I was not following that.
I don't
honestly.
care.
Also, Sandman Volume 7 Brief Lives, 30th
Yes.
anniversary. They've been doing these 30th anniversary reprints of it, so feel free to check those out.
Yes. Incidentally, I should recommend Justice League number 22.
Yes.
It's coming out.
You said should as though you're like, but I'm not going to.
But I'm not going to. No, I'm loving
This is
it.
a twist.
I should do it because it's my obligation to recommend stories that I think are awesome. Check that out.
I just wanted to say over from Image, we're talking about things that are going back to print.
Yeah.
This is going back to print for a good reason. I've been touting this, but Die #1 by Kieran Gillen is going back for its 5th printing.
Mm-hmm.
Five times it's had to go
amazing.
back. So I'm just saying.
Right.
Also coming out from Image, Magic Order trade paperback will be coming out. So if you were trade waiting on that, that's that
Now's
Mark
the time.
Miller awesome magic like mafia sort of ish story.
Yes.
Really loved it. You let me know how you felt about the ending of it, because I thought it was I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. And also, those of you who are fans of East of West, number 42 is coming out this week as well in a couple of days.
Over at Marvel,
Just say War of Realms.
War of Realms number 2 comes out. Check it out. Also,
there's a War of Realms Punisher book coming out.
there is. Well, they're really pushing that. Like,
they're pushing a lot of different things coming with that. I'm sure there'll be some good things and some bad things from that. So pick your tie-ins carefully if you're going to go into them.
Yes. Old Man Quill.
Oh, I missed it. There
number
it is.
4 is coming out.
Yes, I've been really enjoying Old Man Quill for really no reason.
It's good. It's just cool.
It's just fun. Sometimes I just want a fun story, and that's really it's really getting me just the right way. And I know a lot of you guys are Immortal Hulk fans, so don't forget to pick up number 15. That's also coming out.
Yep. Daredevil.
Oh, no, sorry. That's a second printing. They're also doing it.
Oh, no.
They're doing the same thing. Where they're just like, nothing else is coming out.
Here's reprints of
Reprints.
Daredevil number 4 comes out from Zdarsky. It's great.
With also a third printing reprint of the first one. So
Yes.
if you missed that, you can get that as well.
Pick that up. Crap, there was another one. Oh my god. Okay. I'm interested to check out. It's a second printing, but Meet the Skrulls is coming out. Like number 1. I meant to check it out. I missed it. But number 3 comes out.
How many people are going to be picking up Major X?
I don't know. I hope nobody.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't buy it.
No.
I mentioned that it was coming out when I covered Detective 1000.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Why is it happening?
Right.
I don't know, but it's happening.
Yeah. No. No, Major X. No. And it's funny because I would have like done it. I would have recommended it as like a kind of like fun, like, hey, Rob Liefeld created a new character. He's trying to make lightning strike twice for for himself at Marvel, like new Deadpool, that kind of thing. But that character's first appearance is in another book.
Oh.
Technically, because the other book that had like him in the background as like kind of like a fun like, hey, and Rob Liefeld was so pissed that technically came out first. He refuses to sign any books that are that. He will never sign that book because it's not the first appearance of Major X. His book is the first appearance of Major X. So Rob Liefeld just being himself, making me go, don't pick up Major X. Major X. No thanks. Also, still can't draw feet.
Yeah, I saw an image of that. I was like, damn. Listen, they're hard. I get it.
But like you've had 30 years.
They are hard though.
To practice.
They're hard.
Also, Avengers No Road Home number 10, the conclusion of the series comes out.
Yes.
The book was never late.
Good for them.
10 issues of an event.
Right?
Every week. And it came out. That kind of shit should be like touted. Like we need to be like, hey, whoa, that's cool. Good for you. Here's my money. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Doomsday Clock.
All right,
So,
we should jump back into the super chats.
we
I
do
think
need
there
to
were
do
a
that.
few that we missed.
Yes, we missed a couple actually. Estelthani says, like when you collected the majority of Dan Slott's run. Yeah, I didn't collect it, but I did read some of it, but I skipped most of it, like towards the end, and I just didn't buy it. I just didn't. I know what happens. I'm good. And I knew that Spencer was going to undo it all, so like, who cares? But yes, if you were a Dan Slott like hater, but you needed all the issues, like go buy them afterwards. They're all there. I've seen them. They're all there. You could buck a book. Algie Try says, I wanted to give you $10 to my favorite comic YouTuber, but Rob was offline, so here you go. Ha ha, you got me there, Algie. Just kidding. I love you guys, and you're awesome dynamic. Thank you, Algie. We really appreciate it. I saw ahead, but nicely done. Good bait and switch there.
I liked it.
Andre F says, hey, Tiffany.
Hi.
I was wondering if you had enjoyed the Danny Street episode of Doom Patrol. Also, what characters are you liking the most?
I haven't had a chance to see it. I did a huge catch up on it, and now now that a few more episodes have come out, I can jump back in. I'm not great at the week to week in terms of show. I'm bad at it. It's really easy to do, and I'm bad at it. So now that a couple of episodes have come out, I can go back and watch those. But honestly, from that show, I am really enjoying pretty much all the characters. Robot Man really grew on me. I wasn't.
Yeah, you weren't sold.
Brendan Fraser's take on it, but I'm really been enjoying it and the depth he's actually bringing to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Jane, again, I wasn't sold on the actress they got. She is phenomenal. Straight up phenomenal. And honestly, so is Rita Farr. She's so good.
Right.
She's just so good. And who doesn't love Tim Dalton? And honestly, Cyborg's good.
Yeah.
He's good. I dig it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I knew somebody in college very much like Rita.
Okay. Yeah.
Delthani also says, you guys are awesome. Bets on when Doomsday Clock ends? I think if we're taking bets, early 2020.
How many more issues do we have?
3?
No, I bet they finish it up the end of this year.
I don't think so.
It'd be a nice little holiday gift for us all.
I don't think so.
Get your trade paperbacks of Doomsday Clock.
In 2020.
Even if they finished it at the end of the year, you wouldn't be able to get them.
Exactly.
2020.
So no, I think the last issue will come out Q1 of 2020.
Wow.
And he also asked, he said Major X is a great comedy. Well, I'm looking forward to laughing. I literally haven't picked it up. But yeah, so we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us and indulging us on this live episode of Off the Rack, which is our live review show that we do every week, or at least we try to. And I'm sorry we haven't been able to do that in the past. Hoping to get back into it, getting our sea legs and everything, stepping back into the live pool. I know you've been used to doing the live stuff because you do live streaming every Wednesday and Sunday over on twitch.tv/ComicPOP TV, where you play video games and hang out with the population.
I do. Sorry, I was just trying to get it so my head had a Spidey sense coming off of it.
Oh, that's great looking. Oh, I'm surprised. But yeah, so anyway, let us know in the comments down below what books do you want to see us review for next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll see you guys then. We want to thank you all. And of course, don't forget to check out the Patreon. Thank you all to our super chatters. And that's about it. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you then. Also, of course, you'll find an audio version of the show over on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.
Ooh.
So
Podbean?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were the most convenient and cheapest hosters.
Hey, that's very nice. It's a cute name.
I
guess.
like it. ComicPOP.podbean.com. Check it out.
Podbean.
But yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. I am Sal over at Sal Says What on Twitter.
Oh, you're doing something new.
Yeah, I'm trying it out.
And I'm Tiffany over at The Real Zoobs over on Twitter.
Yeah, The Real Zoobs.
The Real Zoobs with a U.
All right. So long, everybody.
Bye, guys.